There are AI scams happening right on this app and people are falling for it, probably including you.
This has got to be the biggest scam in history, all done with AI deepfakes.
A Victorian couple has been fleeced out of $500,000 after falling for an AI investment scam.
AI scams are getting more convincing by the day. I've pulled together some of the most recent eye-opening examples to really help people know what to look out for. By the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer idea of how to stay safe, especially when it comes to the last clip, which is something everybody needs to see. I'm Justin. I put out videos every week to help people safeguard their finances and make smarter money decisions. So consider subscribing. It's free. And with that, let's cue up video number 1.
A Victorian couple has been fleeced out of $500,000 after falling for an AI investment scam. When it came to hunting down those responsible, they vanished without a trace. Jack Peary reports.
This was meant to be the land where John and Gail Young's future dream home was meant to be built before they fell for an elaborate AI scam. After seeing a pop-up ad on Google with TV personality Eddie McGuire encouraging people to invest, John fell for the trap. In March last year, he initially invested smaller sums of $10,000 to $20,000 in the promise of massive returns.
3 or 4 months later, when I was expecting our first dividend to come through, that nothing came through, and when we looked into it, all our money was gone and irretrievable.
By July, he had invested $500,000 of the pair's money that included their savings and superannuation.
I know a lot more now about scamming than I did. I suppose I could say I was naive. I feel embarrassed about what's happened because I've trusted people all my life and I've never gone down this road.
When the first return of the investment didn't arrive, all communication with the supposed broker went dark, and any paper trail or evidence of the investment was deleted. For now, the couple hope authorities will be able to track down those responsible and, by sharing their stories, deter others from falling for similar scams.
Yeah, you've really got to do your research and vet the person that you are investing with. And I don't know how much of a return this person was promising, but if you see returns that are promised, like a risk-free return of 20-something%, you know it's a scam. Based on the evidence, I always recommend people invest in a globally diversified equity index fund for the equity portion of their portfolio. And I always recommend seeking advice from a financial professional, someone who can do planning for you and help to determine your risk tolerance so you know what portion of your portfolio should go towards equities. Of course, the other portion going towards fixed income. And like I said, I put out other videos on that, so I'll leave some links below to those. But yeah, that's really tough. I feel for them. I mean, losing that much money at that age, it's impossible to recoup. That was probably a huge chunk of their life savings. So, I mean, that's just absolutely devastating. I can't imagine. All the more reason we have to just be super cautious and know exactly who we are investing with.
So I get a phone call. My daughter's on the other line. She's crying. She says, "Mom, I've been in a horrible car accident and I'm at the ER right now and they won't give me any treatment because they won't accept my insurance or something. And someone from the hospital is going to call you." Then I get a phone call in the caller ID says the hospital name. The hospital associate says that they can't accept her insurance and they can't give her life-saving treatment until they have some type of payment on record for her. And I can't use a credit card, so I need to wire money, and they're just going to hold it as a deposit, and I'll be able to dispute this very easily with my insurance carrier. This did not happen to me. This happened to one of my followers, and they shared the story with me. And it was a scam. Her daughter's voice had been AI cloned. And there are so many stories like this. And I shared the actual voice recordings of people who were detailing their own horrific nightmares. And I'm talking about crazy, intelligent, smart people, people who work in data science, people who work as PhDs and counselors, people who, just like you and I, are like, I would never fall for that. But they have tactics that are very, very effective because it disables your prefrontal cortex. When you believe that someone in your family's life is in danger, logic goes out the window. And they know exactly what to say. They know exactly what to play in the background so that you think that your child, your family member is in grave danger, or that you could be at risk of being arrested for missing jury duty or failure to show, and they have specific details about your life, and they'll confirm those with you. Things that you're like, there's no way, how would anybody know this? It's through social engineering that they're figuring all of these things out, and they're so common, it is scary. These stories are, you need to tell your parents, you need to have a code word, you need to remember that they can clone the number. So anyone who's pushing you to do something urgently, that is a red flag. Just contact the police department.
So that's Shailene Johnson. She has almost 800,000 followers on TikTok, and she has a podcast helping women to be sexy, fit, and fabulous as they age, and obviously helping them avoid scams like this. So yeah, that's $75,000. That's crazy. And like she said, if someone is telling you you have to send money urgently, then that's really something to look out for. And I don't believe any hospital would ask for money up front before giving life-saving surgery. That doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, like she said, it does something to the mind when you think one of your loved ones is in peril. What are some scams you've heard of? Leave me a comment down below, and while you're at it, you might as well hit subscribe.
You're being tricked every single day by AI on this app, thinking that they're a real human being, but they're not. Like, I just saw a video, and it was this old man, front-facing camera, and he's like, I don't have any friends, so you wouldn't know me, but I have this cat shelter, and it's going down, so I've been making these slippers. Please buy them. They're on TikTok Shop. And at the very end of the video, he shows these cat slippers that he's making. And firstly, they were heavy giving, made in China. Like, could buy them at Justice Claire's kind of vibe. Secondly, the video of the slippers itself, I immediately clocked as AI, because it had that like CGI weird shadow thing going on. There is no information about the shelter itself. They don't say what the shelter is or even what state it's in, which is weird, because if someone was trying to save their, I'm supposing, nonprofit shelter, they would look for people to actually directly help instead of just wasting their time making a bunch of shoes because they also have, I don't know, 200 cats to take care of. I click on the account, I go through the videos. It's a video, all videos of this old man and this old woman, but something I noticed about this old woman in her videos is that there was weird focusing from the front-facing camera. Like, her arm was like this, but her arm was blurred out and her face was in focus. And front-facing camera just does not do that. But also, I know for a fact that there are a lot of softwares in use right now to try to make as real-looking AIs as possible, so you can essentially replace content creators and also actors with those AIs.
Yeah, so I've seen other clips like this as well, and I've got an example coming up. Very similar situation where an older gentleman looks really trustworthy and someone who you would want to help, and his church is in financial trouble, so he's making some bags. So that's coming up momentarily. But look, I'm not going to lie, I'm like most people out there. Attention span just seems to be getting shorter by the minute, and so doing a lot of research to make sure this is not a real charity or something is not likely for a lot of people. So I can see why a lot of people fell for this scam, but it just takes a minute or two to do a little research and see if it's an authentic charity.
This has got to be the biggest scam in history, all done with AI deepfakes. So what happened was a finance worker at a multinational company got an email to say that he or she needed to transfer $25 million into 5 different bank accounts. Now, the finance worker thought it was just a scam email, so they ignored it. But it wasn't until he hopped on a video phone call with the CFO, among other staff, and at this point, the finance worker probably thought, okay, this must be real. But little did he or she know that they were the only real person in that phone call. Everyone else were deepfakes. So the 25 million were transferred, probably never to be seen again. This is crazy because this happened before Sora, or OpenAI's new text-to-video model, came out. So you can imagine how realistic it will be in the future.
Man, that is crazy. $25 million, and they did deepfakes to impersonate other people in the company, including the chief financial officer. So that means this person was seeing video as well. That's just nuts. And the craziest thing is that this happened in early 2024. So, I mean, AI technology is just getting better and better by the day. So yeah, I can't imagine how much more convincing things like this would be. So I guess, like, yeah, you really have to be careful and just, call somebody. If this is happening, I mean, you have to make a call. You have to do your due diligence to make sure it's legitimate. I'm not going to sit here and say how you can do that. I'm certainly not an expert. Man, I don't know what happened in this situation, but obviously these deep fakes were super convincing. And for a $25 million payout, yeah, this scammer was working really hard and probably spent a lot of time to put these deep fakes together. And looking down at some of the comments here, one is, where's the approval process? Which is a great comment. the company I work with, yeah, you've got to have several signatures to send that much money. So I don't know what's going on in this specific company, but obviously like a lot of corporations and companies, smaller, bigger, they are going to have to, and I'm sure they are already doing some things to really safeguard their processes so that money like this is not sent and lost. Some other comments down below. How do I know you're real? Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, the person making that video, how do I know you're real? Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see, Brand Nat. She has 400,000 followers on TikTok. She looks pretty real, but yeah, I mean, how do we know she's real? How do we know I'm real? Well, trust me, I don't know how to use AI to do deep fakes. Another comment below, let it begin. This is the future. Yeah, and these types of things are just getting more convincing. So just all the more reason that we have to do our due diligence and be extra careful.
ChatGPT is getting so good at text generation within images that people are creating these incredibly realistic fake receipts. Someone first posted a fake receipt from a real restaurant in San Francisco that they made using 4.0. And then people called it out as being too perfect. So one user ended up adding food stains, and then another person was able to make it even more realistic by adding a crinkle effect. A pretty natural concern here is that these fake receipts could be used for reimbursements or expense fraud. However, OpenAI claims that any image created within ChatGPT will include metadata that says it's AI generated, and that they'll take action against anyone who violates their policies.
Yeah, that's crazy. ChatGPT is just getting better and better at a lot of things. I use it all the time, and I'm sure you could actually use it to help avoid a lot of scams. I don't think it can watch video yet, but yeah, it can create some awesome images, as we can see. In my day job, I have to submit receipts. I'm in sales. I take customers out for lunch. I stay in hotels and all that. If you create fake receipts and submit it through your work, that is a great way to get fired. So I would definitely not do this.
AI monitoring is now being used in Westpac call centres to detect and stop scams. As finance editor Chris Kohler discovered, it's already prevented customers from losing millions of dollars.
For Westpac call centre workers like Aaron Takuri, it's a constant battle to protect customers from scammers.
Just, I think, an hour ago, I had a case where the customer was trying to purchase a large amount of gold bullion.
They'd found the investment on social media, and while answering Aaron's questions, a new AI system that was listening flagged it as a scam and stopped the large funds transfer.
In total, the amount that flagged and was immediately cancelled was $30,000.
The industry-first system is being piloted nationally, according to the bank's head of fraud prevention, Ben Young.
It's a constant battle against the bad guys, but at the moment this technology is looking very promising.
It works by transcribing and analysing everything that's said over the phone, listening and flagging key scam indicators from an enormous vault of the customer's historical data and any similar suspicious activity from other customers. All this is happening in real time. Across this year and last, investment scams have been the biggest threat by far, with more than $250 million lost, according to the ACCC. But Westpac now says AI will help stop more customers from falling into those traps.
All right, finally, some good news. AI is actually helping us avoid AI scams and other types of scams, so that's awesome. Now, these guys, obviously, they were Australia. I love those accents. And banks in North America and all over the world are doing the same thing. So some of the specific things that banks are using the AI for is super interesting. So real-time fraud detection, they use AI to flag unusual spending patterns, login behavior, or geographical anomalies, like if you're in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, but you pay for an Uber in Russia, then yeah, that would probably be flagged. Something else banks are using AI for: voice and deepfake detection. So some institutions are experimenting with AI to detect synthetic voices or deepfakes in customer service calls or social engineering scams. So that's awesome, and probably something that we could use ourselves if we are getting a video or a call from a loved one. I'm sure there are apps, AI, where we could use to detect if it's actually a scam. But yeah, maybe I'll put out another video about that. If you have any ideas about videos you'd like to see, leave some comments down below. But before I go on to the next topic, a couple other things really cool that the banks are using AI for is scam pattern recognition. So it can identify known scam tactics like phishing attempts, romance scams, fake investment schemes, of course, and block or flag them before money leaves the account. So yeah, super cool.
There are AI scams happening right on this app and people are falling for it, probably including you. I have seen several accounts using videos of elderly people saying like, oh, this is my life's work. I'm just an elderly man. I'm selling these, like, I think one of them was like bunny shoes. The other one was some kind of Lego. Basically, you send a picture and it makes a Lego of you. Since I've gone down the rabbit hole of AI, I can decipher when it is fake. You guys, those elderly people are fake. It is not their life's work. This is people using you to make you buy. And you can tell it's like a chopped up video. The grandpa's like, this is my life's work. And then it shows like a factory in China making these products. And people are like, I'm going to watch the video all the way through. I'm going to share it. And they have like hundreds of thousands of views and likes on these videos. You guys are falling for the AI scam. It feels so unethical to do business like this, but AI is taking advantage of you.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would say that AI is taking advantage of us. I think it's people, it's scammers that are using AI to take advantage of us. But I'm going to get into another great example of one of these videos that she talked about right now.
Hello there. Glad you came by. Now that you're here, I got a story for you. I haven't been able to keep my church up since I couldn't pay rent, so I decided to start hand-making Bible bags to keep my church faithful.
Now, you probably believe this. I believe this. I was baffled when I figured out what was really going on. Now, check this out. This is one of the most, evil, sadistic scams I've seen in a long time. So this guy gets a video from YouTube of some old man telling a sad story or something to that effect. Then what he does is he goes and gets an AI voice cloning software that's going to clone this random old man's voice and make him say whatever the owner of the account wants him to say, which in this case is a story about selling handmade Bible bags to save the church. Except the only problem is there is no church and the bags aren't handmade. There's some cheap Chinese material you could get for half the price on Alibaba or Amazon or something like that.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example. And we didn't get to see a lot of the video of the elderly gentleman, but yeah, it looks super convincing. And a lot of people fell for this scam and lost a lot of money buying these handmade bags to support the non-existent church. So yeah, this is just a perfect example. Super convincing, like a lot of these AI scams are. So be careful out there, do your own due diligence, research, figure out how you can safeguard yourself. Don't just watch this video because AI is getting better and better at scamming. But like I said before, it's getting better and better at protecting us as well. So use it to your advantage and don't let it take advantage of you.
AI can create an image, a job post, or an entire scam. Microsoft just revealed how deep this goes. In just 1 year, Microsoft blocked $4 billion in attempted fraud, much of it AI-powered. Scammers now use AI to build fake online stores with AI-generated reviews, countdown timers, and fake urgency. They use it to craft fake job ads, even AI-generated interviews. Some even can run targeted ads using your public info to trick you. Microsoft says the most convincing attacks come from AI customized social engineering, fraud that feels personal. And it's just not phishing. Tech support scams are evolving too, with attackers posing as IT support and using Microsoft Teams or Quick Assist to gain remote access. Microsoft says fight AI with AI. Use secure browsers, block remote access, and verify everything. Scams are no longer sloppy. They're smart.
$4 billion in AI-powered fraud. That's crazy. So yeah, some of the examples that he said that you can see here. So fake e-commerce, AI-generated websites, reviews, and urgency tactics. Yeah, they love the urgency thing. So that should always be a red flag when they're making something seem like an emergency or something super urgent. They can create fake jobs to maybe get your banking information once you land the job. Tech support fraud as well, right? So that they can gain access to your computer. So look out for that. Targeted ads. So AI tailor scam sites to your name and interests so they can make things super personal. And some tips to stay safe: use browsers with domain spoofing protection. I started using Brave a little while ago actually, which is really helpful to avoid phishing and other types of scams. But don't take my video I'm presenting to you or this specific clip as all of the scams that are out there or how to protect yourself. I'm certainly not an expert, so do your own due diligence, your own research, and how to protect yourself from these scams. Leave some comments down below. If you have any stories, if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. I put out videos every week to help people make smarter money decisions and safeguard their finances. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.